Hello. Oh, shoot.
Oh,
I'm
oh.
a dragon.
I love it. Kari's a ghost, obviously. Hey, Kari, it's so great to see
Obviously.
you.
Kari.
Hey, it's great to be here.
Kari was
Oh,
a
thank you so
ghost
much.
this whole time.
This whole time.
It made me sad because she missed my freaking. I'm a poet and I know it.
I know it was a great opening video. I loved
I
it.
thought she'd like my writings, but she is dead.
She's dead. That song killed her.
Dead. Ding dong.
The Kari's dead. Well, hello and welcome, everybody. This is a little bit different for you guys because this is our very first episode of Only Ghosts, where we are just talking about ghosts and the paranormal and ghosty ghosts and scary, creepy things. And today, our very first episode is Bloody Mary, and we're very excited about it. And so we hope that there's maybe some new people here, the returning people. You guys like the new content. So Bree, why don't you bring up our presentation? Oh, Kari's back.
I've materialized in the.
You've risen from the dead.
Plane. Hello again. Hello.
Exactly.
Hello,
so we're talking today about Bloody Mary, and I feel like everyone knows this tale from their childhood. Like this was like this classic. Like you were scared. It was you and your girlfriends when you were like at a sleepover in like 4th or 5th grade, and you'd all go to the bathroom and do Bloody Mary.
But we did that shit at YMCA, man. I tell you.
Wait.
Did you?
Everywhere.
There's a big presupposition there that I had friends, Jamie.
Oh yeah, sorry about that, Kari. I forgot. You are AI.
No, I think you just
sorry
do it.
To pie poop, but yeah.
This one in Candyman, I feel like everyone did those,
Candyman, for sure. And I do want to say that I did depict it that Bree was the leader and that I was running away scared.
Sounds right.
Yeah. I was like, fuck this shit. Also, can you tell I really like this because we all look so like thick. Like we got ass for days in this, and I love it. All right, so how to play Bloody Mary. So step 1, you go to the bathroom, you turn off the lights, and you light a candle. Step 2, you chant Bloody Mary 3 times while looking in the mirror. And then 3, you have to spin in a circle 3 times with your eyes closed. And then 4, you blow out the candle, and then Bloody Mary will appear. Now, there's several different variations and versions of this, but this specific 4 steps is kind of a combination of it all. Some of them, you're just having the candle and you don't have to spin 3 times. Sometimes it's necessary for you to spin 3 times. And I feel like this happens with most lore, that you get these like mixtures of all these different versions of it.
For sure. I mean, I've seen a bunch where you do it 13 times.
That's too many.
And it's like the 13 because of the number 13.
Of course.
So you do it 13 times. And I'm like, who has the patience for that? Man.
People really
don't.
Especially at that age.
I feel like I never actually went through the whole thing. I feel like I might have stood there and been like, Bloody Mary, and then just waited. And like, oh, guys, I did it. Nothing happened.
I did it. It's great. Yeah. I will say that it is a great, terrifying story to tell. So.
True that. Oh wow, she's scary.
I've never really heard about it, to be honest.
It's not.
Maybe
I know the drink.
You know what's funny is it is a little bit more of an American thing, but we'll start to learn through here that the roots of it go back to every other place other than America. So what happens when you summon Bloody Mary? Bloody Mary is said to be capable of physical harm and could either kill her victims via disfigurement, decapitation, or by scratching their eyes out. If she is merciful, she can simply turn her victim insane. But most stories are like they die. They're never like a pleasant, like, oh, she just visits you and says hello. It is always she is going to harm you in some horrible, awful way.
I think I told you guys that American Horror Story had an episode on Bloody Mary this season, and it went that the girls all did it, and she showed up in the mirror and was like, I can give you what you want, like name a wish, but then was like, now you have to kill the rest of the girls. So like there's like 4 girls, each of them is granted a wish, but they're supposed to like kill each other. And then it's like, of course, one by one, they all die. And then the one girl that's left, she never wanted to kill anyone. And she was such a sweet girl. And Bloody Mary, like, shows up in the flesh. She like comes through the mirror. And then switches their place. and is like, I'm free. Like, you are basically
Bloody Mary now. Oh.
Yeah, she's like, you aren't innocent, because the girl was like, I'm absolutely not going to kill my friends or anyone, or, you know, she was like sticking to, no, I'm the good person. And then at the end of the day, it was that true
innocent
soul,
person.
that's true innocent soul, where Mary was able to step out of the freaking mirror and trade places. And then it was her job. And she's like going crazy in the mirror. I'm like, this is fucked up.
I feel like I'd rather get killed from Bloody Mary than take her place.
Yeah, because you would live all eternity. She's living all of eternity in that mirror until she is able to grant a wish for someone, but she'd have to do the exact same thing that was done to her.
Exactly. So she wouldn't become an innocent soul anymore.
Absolutely not. It's just like, and imagine you're in the mirror and you're just constantly hearing 1,000 children all around the world just being like, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Like, you hear their chants all day long. Fucking wild.
That wouldn't be fun.
No, that drives you insane.
Oh, for sure.
For sure, for sure.
Oh, sure.
So another thing that could happen is that she could take your soul for her own, ripping yours to shreds in the process. Then she'll leave your soul to burn, and to top it off, you'll be subjected to eternity trapped inside the mirror. So it's interesting that you said that, because this kind of goes back into the different versions of it that you hear today, especially in media and even the way that people retell it. It's like you have all these different things that are kind of sprinkled throughout all these different stories. Some stories have them and some stories don't. And this one, it's not that you're switching places, but that you're trapped inside the mirror with her.
And that just, oh my God.
That Isn't also that like awful. A Kiefer Sutherland movie?
Kiefer Sutherland?
Kiefer.
I have no idea, because I don't know who that is. Okay.
Ooh.
So there's several different paths that the Bloody Mary origin stories go, and it's said that it's a ghost of an unhappy woman who either committed suicide due to having her baby stolen or was accused of murdering her children falsely. And this really depends, again, on the variation that's told inside of this. This is also not the only versions of it that are out there. This is the more like kind of fantasy out there, not a specific person explanation for it. There are several like real life explanations for it, but this one is the just kind of overall consensus of it's not an individual person. It was just the idea of this person that started it.
Ooh, would you like me to read?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I could do a dramatic reading.
Wait, so before you read it, Mary Wentworth is the original kind of who it's said the actual person who Bloody Mary is like named after. This is like the number one. This is where the story originated. It's from this real person, Mary Worth.
Kari, would you like to read it?
One night, a young girl was captivated by a mysterious noise that only she could hear. Her mother was up soothing a toothache. That really hurts my throat.
Oh, it sounded so good.
Mary's I know, right?
Wait, Bree, I think you skipped a slide.
Or her daughter leaving her home. What?
Oh, I'm sorry,
Kari.
You're
just fucking me up, man.
I know, I'm so sorry.
I did.
Yeah, you did.
On,
okay.
Man.
I was like, I feel like you did something. Bree, why don't you read this one and Kari will read the next one.
Read that one as me being Australian. I dare you.
I'm Kari. Mary was a witch who lived in the forest in an extremely small cabin and sold tinctures and herbal remedies. Locals were very wary of her and didn't want to get too close, fearful that she'd curse them or their animals. Soon, small girls started to go missing. Some townfolk ended up at Mary's cabin to search for the girls. Mary denied all knowledge of the girls' disappearances, but the family were still suspicious. Her usually elderly and haggard appearance had drastically changed, and she was starting to appear more feminine and youthful. It sounds like hocus pocus.
That sounds like a succubus.
So the thing is there's actually multiple different people throughout the story, and their stories sound very hocus pocusy. And it's so interesting that you picked up on that, because I was the same thing when I was researching it. I was like, tell me this doesn't sound like the literal plot of Hocus Pocus minus the blood.
What are their names?
Whose names?
Winnie and Hocus Pocus. There's Winnie.
Winnie, Sarah.
It wasn't Sarah.
No, Sarah's Jessica Parker. That's a real name. I don't know. I just remember Winnie.
Which A, which B, and which F.
Which green, which purple, and which red.
Red. Exactly. And so this also, I want you to think of this motif as well, because it happens to be a theme over a lot of women that we're going to talk about. This idea that they're taking these kids so that they can be more youthful and more feminine.
Also can go back and plug into like adrenochrome.
We're getting there. Don't worry. We're getting there.
Oh, 1,000%. So here you go, Kari.
Now you want my voice.
That sounded really much like it. That was good, Bree.
Keep doing it. Keep going.
No, I will hurt my voice. I'm sensitive.
Yeah, we know that. But okay. One night, a young girl was captivated by a mysterious noise that only she could hear. Her mother was up soothing. I'll fucking read. Soothing a toothache with one of Mary's tinctures, and saw her daughter leaving their home. The woman shouted for her husband.
It's not working.
This is so stupid.
Okay.
To come and help follow her daughter, no matter how much they yelled and called for their daughter. It was as though she was following an unspoken and unseen force, getting there with the help of a few townsfolk. The town farmer noticed that there was a light at the edge of the woods. When they got closer, they noticed again that Mary Worth was standing in a clearing next to a huge oak tree. She was holding a wand, pointing it towards the young girl's home. The young girl was headed straight towards Mary's unnatural light. Ooh!
Mm-hmm. So she's like, over here. So wait, is that like, come little children?
Exactly. Literally Hocus Pocus.
Oh my gosh. What the frick?
What the frick? All right, so Mary was set. So that was the like original version of one's version of Mary. There's another version of Mary that kind of stems from a different area, and this is like the Chicago-y area version of Mary Worth. And Mary was part of the reverse Underground Railroad, meaning that she'd bring slaves in under false pretenses and then send them back down to the South, making money off of them. Mary also practiced the dark arts, torturing and killing slaves for her rituals. She ended up lynched and burned on her own property. And 100 years later, a subdivision was built near where her burial ground was. And the construction workers found a stone, and like a big stone, and removed it. And the legend says that that was like her grave marker. And they ended up moving the stone and kind of putting it in a path of this house. And then creepy things started to happen inside of that house. Like dishes would fly up the wall, and the house burnt down 2 separate times.
Wow.
Why did they build back? Did they build back better?
I don't think after the third time. I think after the third time is when they hung up the hat on that one. They were like, we're good.
You know, it'd be interesting if we had the actual, like, if we could track this down and see if there's any truth to it, and if it's still an actual house.
It's in Chicago. It's in the Chicago area, and like ghost hunters have been there before. That is why I added the story in here, because this is a genuine kind of layer to that Mary Worth scenario. It's not just that there's 2 different stories about her, but there's this one that like people have like actually kind of vetted and are like, no, this is her original story.
I wouldn't live there. Do you know if people live in the home, or if it's just like a city owned, maybe?
I don't even know.
Mm-hmm. That would be interesting.
That would be. So one of the more real life versions of what people think Bloody Mary was Mary the First of England. And I feel like she gets a really bad rap on this one, because although her nickname was Bloody Mary, She wasn't really as bad as any of the people that we're talking about. She kind of low-key was just like living her life. Although she did do some, like she directed some bad shit. Listen, any monarch does some horrible things and lots of people die at their hands. But I don't feel like she was maliciously murdering these people because she was taking their blood and making herself youthful, like many of the other stories are talking about, or like using these people
murdering
for
them
rituals.
normally,
She was just
like
murdering them
every other
normally.
psychopath.
Exactly. Brie, why don't you read this one?
Okay. Some believe that the Bloody Mary legend is directly tied to the Queen, who bore the nickname. Queen Mary I of England became known as Bloody Mary because she burned hundreds of Protestants alive during her reign. Almost 300 Protestants were burned alive at her command. They included prominent religious figures like Thomas Cranmer and Archbishop of Canterbury, and bishops Hugh Latimer and Nicholas Ridley, as well as scores of normal citizens, most of them poor.
Purely for just not being Catholic. That's literally what it came down to. Because they were not Catholic, she persecuted all of these people. And that's really why she got this nickname, was because she killed all these people. Even though her father before her and her sister after her who ruled killed way more people than she did, she was the only one bore with this Bloody Mary name.
Well, yeah, I can't remember if she actually did have a baby, but I know there was a whole thing about how
she did not. She actually gave birth to like it was called like a mole baby, and it was like just a giant clump of human cells and things like that, and not an actual fetus, and that was the only time she was pregnant.
Well, I just know that when she wasn't like giving birth like she expected to in the time frame, she was like, God's pissed, we really gotta amp up the aggression here. These executions need to be stronger. And it was
definitely
like,
a lot of people alluded to the fact that her unfortunate pregnancy led to her very strict beliefs in the Catholic stuff, where she was like, we have to change everything, this is the only way I'm gonna have a baby. They think that really motivated her reign.
She really doesn't look good in this picture, I'll tell you that.
No, absolutely not.
Like, not at all. But I know she was like a really smart lady. She spoke Spanish and English and fluent in Latin.
Because her husband was Spanish. She married specifically for her alliances and such. Yes, she was a very smart woman. And so the Protestants' deaths were meticulously recorded by Protestant John Fox. In his 1563 book, The Acts and Monuments, he described the deaths of Protestants martyrs throughout history, complete with illustrations. And after her death, and in large part to this book, is when and why she was given the nickname Bloody Mary. And you can go and do this. This guy documented the entire thing with illustrations, pictures, lists of everyone that died. All of that is right here in this book.
Looks cool.
It's so amazing that like he was like, I'm not going to let anyone tell this history any different way. And this is one of the depictions inside of it. And one of the ways they did this is they hung them, they burned them at the stake. They tortured them. There were tons. It was horrible, awful acts that were done upon this large group of people.
Especially since a lot of them were the less fortunate, or the poor, or just they were outright just ignorant to they couldn't, like, you'd have to like recite the Lord's Prayer, which, I mean, if you can't like read or write, or like maybe you don't remember all of that, you can't say it, or you know what I mean, like those are the kind of things that they were asking these people. And if they were uneducated, they didn't have an answer for you. I'm sure that they would have pretended like they knew, but instead it's like, nope, you got to die. You're not a real Catholic.
That was a big part of it, because I think it was about executing a certain amount of people that was making her happy. And at this point, she couldn't find a bunch of people who were disagreeing with her. So she went to poorer communities and started to kill people because she was trying to make a point. It was like, you do what I say. That's how they controlled people back then. That's how the monarchs did their reign. They controlled their population with violence and massacres and things like that. So this is actually, although tragic, very normal of its time.
so ass backwards in the name of God always. It's like, oh my God.
Exactly. And that's why it's like gotten away with, because it's like, well, this person is in charge because it's their divine right by God and they want us to rule. So if they massacre people, then it's in the name of God. So it's right.
It's killing me.
I know.
So I still live under this exact system we're talking about.
I know. Hopefully not for long.
Get the fuck out. Just kidding. We're money better.
Our next candidate for Bloody Mary is this awful woman that I'm sure some people know about. And I feel like we could do an entire episode on this crazy woman. So this is just a very brief overview of her. So she was a Hungarian noblewoman. And I'm going to call her Lizzie because I feel like that's the name she went by.
She's the lizard.
Maybe. I mean, look at the beauty. Lizzie and 4 of her servants were accused of torturing and killing hundreds of girls and women between 1590 and 1610. And legend says she bathed in the blood of virgins to retain her youth, which goes back to Mary Worth, where she was talking about how she was luring the young children so that she could stay young.
I don't think she should be called Lizzie. I think she should be called Beth Bath.
Ooh, Beth Bath. That's so fucking smart.
That's
Beth
so good.
Bath and Beyond, man.
Beth Bath and Beyond.
Beth Bath and Beyond the Dead.
Oh, that was great. That was good.
Even though Lizzie, she wrote Lizzie.
Sorry, I just flipped the table there. I don't know what.
I know, I loved it. It was great.
Should we edit it?
Beth Bath was killing daughters of lesser social status who were sent to her school by her parents to learn etiquette. So she had this big castle that she lived in. And back in the time, like you sent your girls off to learn etiquette instead of school. And she ran one of these things. Relatives started to report the girls missing, and others from the town reported seeing traces of tortured dead bodies, some of which were buried in graveyards and others in unmarked locations. So people just started reporting that dead bodies started showing up everywhere all over the town, and it was very obvious that like these bodies were violated in some way. And some of the things that she was described as doing was like draining all of the blood out of them, keeping some alive and slowly draining them like throughout time so she can get more blood out of them and stuff like that. So like the bodies were like severely cut up, decapitated, limbs falling off, because she would like cut your arm off and just let you lay there and bleed. Like that was her vibe. She was like, oh, you're just gonna hang out here.
What a cruel woman.
She really was.
And like she does not look nearly as pretty as she did in the first picture. So here, no.
I purposely put an uglier one of her because I was like, fuck you, bitch.
How do you know that the artist wasn't like threatened into making it like an attractive
That's
painting?
true.
That's true.
Because her nose looks pretty perfect.
It does. I hate her hairline though.
Her eyes look a little Jewish.
Hungarian.
She just reminds me of someone in my family. After being convicted, Lizzie was locked in a bricked room in her home.
And that's like the thing that I think everybody remembers about this story about Beth Bath. I think that everyone thinks and remembers her as this thing that was like locked up inside of her castle, bricked in, and that she died inside of there. But the funny thing is like the actual truth of the story is that's not necessarily what happened. She was kind of just confined to house arrest. Like she could come out of her room. She wasn't actually bricked up anywhere. And her body is still not inside of the wall to this day. She died and she was buried in a graveyard. And then the townspeople got so upset that she was buried in this graveyard that they demanded that she be moved. And so her body was moved back to her original family's land. But there's said to be no burial marker of where on the property she's buried.
Sounds like a conspiracy to me.
A little bit, right?
She probably didn't get nearly as bad of a punishment that she deserves.
So it's so interesting that Mostly Space says this. Those fools basically normalized serial killers back then. That's the thing. They 100% did. And that's why she was confined to like house arrest, because she was like a woman. And so they were like, this was definitely before the whole like witch trials where they were burning people at the stakes and stuff like that. Like she's very lucky that she got away with what she did, because in other centuries and in other parts of the world, she would have literally been burned at the fucking stake.
Absolutely. And I think she deserves it. This is interesting, the brick thing, because I always go back to American Horror Story because I feel like they cover so many different things and they link all these things. But I know in Hotel there's a scene, a situation where someone is buried behind a wall with bricks. And I remember just thinking that would be a terrifying way to go. You're alive, you're buried alive in a different way.
But here's my question, like, how do you get food? Where do you poop at?
You don't. You just die.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you?
They close it up and wait for you to die.
Do you just like lay there or just stand there and just wait for death to come? Like, is that the whole thing? You just shit your pants. You don't eat.
And
you get. Black. I think you still get you get book service, so it's not too bad.
Book service.
Yeah.
What the? Which book service?
So,
is that British?
They come past with a little trolley full of books, and you throw the one you've been reading through the little hole at the top.
Oh, and she read books. Okay. That's so
that way, as you slowly die, you at least get some
die reading.
Die reading. Got you. 100%.
Unless the bricks are all the way up, there's no peep, and you die rather quickly. Unless there's a weird air pocket. I don't know.
No.
On to the next one.
Sounds hokey to me.
Sounds hokey to me.
Here we have Bloody Mary reaching out beyond just the American kind of version of it, or English version of it, should I say. And we have Hanako-san, which is Japanese, and it's a Japanese urban legend about the spirit of a young girl who haunts school bathrooms. The details of her origin depend on the account, some saying she is a ghost of World War II era girl who was killed while playing hide and seek during an air raid, and others believe that she was murdered by a parent or stranger, or even that she committed suicide in the school bathroom due to bullying. So you have the same kind of similarities here to the more American English version of it, where it's you have a bunch of different versions of what the origin story actually could be of what this is.
Here's they just picked version of it in popular culture. Moaning Myrtle from Harry Potter.
Very similar.
It's basically the same
thing.
Well, they've taken the archetype of the spirit of the idea
in a bathroom.
It just reminds me of Grudge. I feel like she's gonna be
help.
She looks really scary. I feel like this would be a dope Halloween costume, though. You could dress up in a schoolgirl's outfit and get short black hair, bangs, and the bloody eyes.
Get some red
contacts. Oh shit! Remember that.
So, in similarity to Bloody Mary, you're going to see some things the same and some things not. So in order to summon Hanko-san, you enter the third floor girls' bathroom. Apparently the number 3 is very important for this. You knock on the third stall 3 times and ask if Hanko-san is present. Hanko-san will reply, "Yes, I am," and her bloody and ghostly hand will appear. Her hand will drag you into the toilet and down to hell.
Okay.
So no mirror in this one.
Great.
But also it's that idea of something comes out of something in the bathroom and your life is no more. It's not about a friendly visit. It's not about just summoning them to see what they're doing. They are going to take you in with them.
I was just checking on you. I didn't want any harm.
So as you can imagine, lots of Japanese schoolgirls are caught doing this in the bathrooms.
Which is so stupid because it's steps 1 to 4, it automatically ends and that's what's going to happen to you, right? You go down the toilet. Would you do it? Where at least with Bloody Mary, people are waiting to see if they just see her in the mirror.
That's true.
But this is
true.
I'm just waiting to be dragged down through the toilet. The fuck?
Absolutely.
I'm not into that. That is no good for me.
Now, A lot of people think that this idea of Bloody Mary stemmed from rituals that were happening during Halloween time in the 20th century. And this specifically is a 20th century Halloween greeting card, and it depicts a divination ritual in which a woman stares into a mirror in a darkened room to catch a glimpse of the face of her future husband. The shadow of a witch is cast onto the wall onto the left, which is kind of like, it's showing that it's like you're using witchcraft in order to see your future.
Right. And these are technically, all of these things are technically just like a different form of scrying.
100%. Absolutely.
And it's just so funny, the times, it's always like has to do with marriage.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. So there's another similar ritual that's a historical divination ritual, and it encouraged young women to walk up a flight of stairs backwards, holding a handle and a hand mirror in a darkened house. And as they gazed into the mirror, they were supposed to be able to catch a view of their future husband's face. There was, however, a chance that they would see a skull instead, indicating that they were going to die before they would ever get the chance to marry. And so this is, again, kind of aimed towards like younger girls. At this case and in this day and age, it's like 15, 16, because you're getting married at 18. And you're doing this because you're trying to figure out if you are going to get married to a handsome, beautiful, wonderful man, or you're just going to fucking die.
I wonder if some people just lied and was like, oh, I saw it, but I couldn't see his face. Or if there's someone that's like, I never want to get married, the one rebel, and it's like, all I saw were skulls.
So I feel like that's kind of the thing with something like this. Okay, so think about it. You're in a dark room. You're walking backwards up the stairs, so you're trying to focus on that. You have a mirror in one hand, a candle in the other. That's the only light that you have. You're also looking into the mirror. There's so much going on, and your focus is trying to be in too many places at once that, like, of course you're going to see something or catch a glance of something that you mistake as something else. You know what I mean? So I think that that's why it was so specific of walking backwards up the stairs and all these things that they're doing, because they're trying to get your brain to not just like look in the mirror and focus on something. It's trying to get your brain to kind of freak out and maybe see a shadow and interpret it a certain kind of way.
Or with enough distractions, you don't convince yourself that you're seeing something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, because you're focusing on just going up the stairs and being able to hold the two while doing it, that maybe you're focusing on that so much. Because I mean, if you're looking for a skull or a face, that sounds like a pain in the ass.
100%.
In a dark room to walk, mm-hmm. It is just too much. Kari, read this one. Like you're normal.
No.
Okay.
Strange face illusions are apparitional perceptions of deformed faces, unknown people, and monstrous beings produced by prolonged staring at one's own face in the mirror, or when staring eye to eye with another person in a dyad at lower level of room illumination. Giovanni P. Caputo at MIT Press Direct. I'll be here all week.
So that just means it's just a scientific explanation.
Yes, it's a scientific explanation stating basically that if you stare in the mirror long enough, you're going to start to see your face distort, or you'll start to see other distorted faces inside of the mirror. Our brains just do... Like, I feel like this is not the only version of it. We have all these explanations of, like, when your brain is too quiet, it starts to do something. When your brain is too bored, it starts to do something. When your eyes don't see something, your brain makes believe things. Like, your mind does so many crazy things when you're doing, like, different tasks that they, at this point, I feel like have a phenomenon for all these kind of explanations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's up, Kari? What's the deal here? Yar can't get a word in for Kari? Did we do something?
I'm just gonna... My ADD is real bad today.
Oh shit, what happened?
That is not the end.
I absolutely totally didn't listen.
Is that the end?
I think it is.
Oh my god, you don't have the video of the sound.
Oh no, what? What's going on?
You've got no sound, Brie.
I don't know why.
I don't know what's going on.
Was that the last slide?
Where are we? Who?
Yeah, it is.
That video is, and then one more.
Oh my god. There. I got it. Don't cry.
Bam.
Do you want me to read it again?
I'm in my bathroom.
Okay.
And, we're gonna Bloody Mary it up in here, so I'm gonna turn off the lights, so it's gonna be a little dark for y'all. So let's see what happens. So I gotta spin in a circle too. You can't see me, but I'm spinning. 1, 2, 3. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Maybe I should spin some more. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Nothing happened.
Your hair. Just the hair on the door. Look at this face. You're just like,
nothing happened.
I thought it would die.
I was like, nothing, absolutely nothing. And there's like, I wanted to find like YouTube videos of it, like so bad, but they were all so awful and fucking cheesy and so like not good. Like it was so like, it made me laugh so hard. But I want to know what like you guys think. Do you guys think that like this is just an urban legend meant to scare people? Or do you think that there's a possibility that some version of a real person might actually be a ghost out there that's haunting people in the mirrors of bathrooms?
That's hard to say because I think mirrors are always known to be paranormal and used as like a portal from the
But we're just
spirit
talking
world.
like just in this case of Bloody Mary, not saying that you can't use a mirror as a portal, which we could get into a whole episode about mirrors, I feel like.
I'm going to consult my fractal.
Yeah, see what that says. I don't know.
What does it say?
7.
And here's what I think. I definitely think that there's probably ghost versions of all of these people. But here's my problem with a lot of the lore and then the version of like what it is where like that's talked about that comes through the mirror and stuff. None of these things necessarily had anything to do with mirrors and bathrooms. You know what I mean? So it's like so it's like interesting to me that they have all these stories. Like to me, if you would have like any of like if it was about Mary Worth, right? It made sense that she haunted that house. And even if it was just the bathroom of that house, that would make sense because it was just like that was the area. But the fact that she would come through all people's bathrooms, I don't quite understand how the whole bathroom part of it got thrown into the mix of this lore. Because like I said, I can see all of these things being ghosts, but I just don't understand if one of these things tragically died and a mirror was involved. Maybe that's another story. Because then you get trapped in all mirrors. And then, you know, maybe it was you died in a bathroom mirror and that's why you're coming up in people's bathroom mirrors. But you see, I don't understand the whole connection between all of that. Or
We're
is
missing
it that
the bridge. That's what it is.
exactly?
I feel like.
Or is it that the bathroom was just that convenient, scary place? And so that's what makes sense for the lore and the story. So then it absolutely can't be rooted in anything real, because if that part is made up, then of course the whole story would have to be made up.
Right. Oh, I think I'm kind of leaning towards that.
Right? Like it's fun and it's great. And I feel that there's a lot of potential for the characters that we talk about in here to be their own scary ghosts. But I don't think any of them necessarily is the Bloody Mary origin. I feel like the origin doesn't match up to this ghost at all.
No. But Kari, you gave it a 7. 7 in belief?
That's what the fractal told me.
That's
This
what the
said
fractal told you.
7.
7.
7.
I mean, I'd like to
Listen
believe
to
it.
your fractals, my friends. Listen to your fractals.
Maybe.
What?
So I feel like the fractal is saying if it's
My
giving it a
finger says
7,
fuck off.
it's giving it real ghost. I think I'm personally giving it fake ghost.
I'm giving it a tomato.
Yep.
I think this is fake
Probably.
ghosty.
You put tomato juice in a Bloody Mary.
Yes.
Oh, that would have been funny.
Fake ghost. So I think this one we're just gonna. It's straight. This ain't no real ghost.
Yeah, it's an urban legend that stretches back to like the medieval times.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
what's
yet-
crazy
and yet
about
people still debate it as if it's real, and it's like, okay.
I think it's still fun though. Keep the kids going.
No, I think it's a totally fun kids story, and I think that it's great.
It's a fun campfire story for 10-year-olds.
100%.
Campfire, sleepover, or YMCA. Like I had mine at the first time I ever did it.
Slightly inappropriate camp counselor.
Just,
Ooh.
Oh, I had a crush on the camp counselor once.
Really big.
Yeah, like really big.
I love that. That's a vibe. What are we? Are we doing anything the rest of the week, you guys? I know that next week we're doing Bobby's Crypto Corner right before Bree leaves, and then you're going to Hawaii.
Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Candyman. Maybe we should do a quick one on Candyman. We probably could have done them back to back because we probably could have too fast.
Oh yeah, this one went by a little bit quickly. I didn't know we were going to read everything so fast. There was a lot of text in there. I was like, we'll take a while. Yeah, absolutely. Let's show and tell 100%.
I got a new book today.
Ooh, yeah.
Read it, mate.
The Imagination Chamber.
From the side. No, the other side. Bam, red. Fancy.
Are the pages red or just?
It's a giant. No, it's a giant frickin'. Like I'm a little bit miffed, right? So like I brought this because I'm a completionist, and I wanted all the books. So I buy it, and it's mostly just a fucking waste of paper. Like
oh my god,
like a paragraph on each page.
What is this? What is this?
Maybe you're supposed to write notes in it.
One page,
or maybe you're supposed to draw. Maybe you make it a journal. You know what I mean? You interact.
The way that
it's
supposed to be like these are little like snippets, like where he'll just write like 3 sentences, but you can apply that to your understanding of the world.
Okay, so maybe you're supposed to make notes in it. Yeah.
It's like,
but it's just like a lot of waste.
It's like set during this one.
I was hoping to see Kari's ass crack. That didn't happen.
Me too, low key.
So it's. You guys are just impossible.
Always hate our sexual advances.
Yeah, I do. Anyway, so it's set like kind of during this one and during the original trilogy, but kind of during this one too.
Damn, that one's a big ass book. I tell you that.
It is a big ass book.
It's a big book.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't tell.
Pages.
You didn't tell us what the baby book was about.
The baby book. So I did. It's like So like it will be like
sentences.
A few sentences.
Pick a page with like 2 sentences.
I'll read one. Azrael among the bears. I refer Arachnison. I'm going to be entirely frank with you, followed by a string of confident and overbearing lies. Had he noticed the Bear King's dull diamond? The clue that he was unbear-like enough to be tricked? Or was it just luck? But he knew the bears well enough. He was very like his daughter.
Oh, is this kind of from his Dark Materials?
It like pertains to the book, right? Like it's trying to get you to make like notices of things.
No. It's snippets that he's written that are set kind of in and out. Like so, like it's up to you as a fan to work out what the fuck. But I really like the cover. It
is cool.
Cosmic Rays.
But it pertains to his Dark Materials.
Yeah. So this is the second book of the sequel trilogy, the Book of Dust trilogy. So let me get the other one.
Big ass book.
The other one.
I think that the next season, the 3rd season on HBO is coming out rather soon. Can't wait for that.
I'm
Dark Materials.
I'm not bothering unless it's like finished. I don't care. So here's the trilogy. This is always
that's a pretty book cover. Is that a white wolf?
It's a very pretty book cover. So this is remember in the Rather Be Squinting show I was talking about the books that I really like. Well, it was this trilogy. So this is it's actually a really pretty hardcover. It's actually red.
Oh, looks like a Bible right there.
So it's like a fantasy series set in Oxford.
Yes.
And I'm near Oxford.
You're in
near Oxford.
And then there's a sequel trilogy where it's like The Belle Sauvage and The Secret Commonwealth. This book is so big. Like Like, Jesus.
How much have you read so far of these books?
I read this one. I haven't read this one yet.
Jeez.
But
I'll take the small book.
I grew up reading these. I met the author when I was like 9.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
9. It was like a school trip into Oxford where it was like this book seminar. It wasn't just him. It was like Philip Pullman, Mallory Blackman, and some other author. Anthony Horowitz, I think it might have been. But yeah, afterwards I went up to Philip Pullman and was just like, hey man, I love your books. He's like, hey, you're very welcome. And I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go now.
So you've read them all already then?
I've read these and I've read this. I haven't read these.
Not that one. Yeah. Oh my god. No.
Like this one's just been intimidating me for a long while because it's 700 pages.
Joe, you missed all the ghosts of lingerie.
I'm just like, I know this is going to take me like a month, so I'm just like waiting for the right moment.
I feel it.
Yeah,
one page a day. Finish it.
If I could recommend anything, it would be read this trilogy because it's hands down one of the best fantasy archetypal coming of age stories of all time. All fucking time.
Well, I like the show, so I imagine.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk about Philip Pullman. Everyone should be a fan.
Philip,
thank you.
Poor man.
I do want to tell everyone the next only ghost we do is going to be videos of ghosts. So it's going to be like a little only ghost kind of butt stuff version, and we're going to go over some ghosty ghost videos on the next one, which I believe it's on the 25th is when we're coming back. When we come back with that after you come back from your trip.
I don't even know what calendar days look like. So
yeah, no, me either. That's why I was guessing.
I want one.
Love it.
No idea. Yes.
No idea. All right. Anyone got any final thoughts?
Have you got any show and tell? I just spoke for like 10 minutes on something I like.
No, it was shit. It was all I got.
I have a mask.
Nobody cares, Brie.
I love that.
Okay, well, I made it, so thanks.
It's a vibe.
You made that?
It is. I did. Check it out. Good job. Okay, wait. I lied to you.
You bought it and then painted it?
I didn't make it. Someone else made it in my family, just the paper mache part, and I found it in the closet, and I made a face out of it. So, like, still, like, should I go on fucking one of those FX shows where you do makeup and shit? Because
for sure. Yeah.
I did see your question, Mostly Space. No, I don't have a copy. Yes, I want a copy.
Vibes.
Do we all need to be a costume for the Halloween show? You should.
Yes, we're going to be in costumes.
I have 3 costumes.
I was like, Kari has a multi-level costume. Brie has a costume. I have a costume that Brie hates. She's so mad at me.
In fact, I have
She's going to try to talk me out of it.
The final layer is I just fucking leave.
You become a ghost.
Maybe I'll be Kari for Halloween.
Maybe you should.
Oh, so you would just be a miserable prick the whole time.
Exactly. Hey. Oh, that'd be so hard. I could be half of you. I could be one half of me that's yelling, the other half of me that's like. So it'll be like one side. I'll have a little name tag. One side's Jamie. One side's Kari. And I'll switch between the two. Like
I was gonna say, do I make noises like that? Do I go ha 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 ha? I don't think I make that noise, so I'm a little confused there.
Yeah, no, you do sometimes for sure.
Okay. Now I'm gonna be really like aware.
She's going to go back and be like, I watched every single episode of anything I've ever been on. And I never did that.
Never.
I ain't got that much time in my life to sit and watch my own
No, I
things.
don't either. Oh, you guys think my mask is scary?
Yeah, I think it's scary.
The only thing is I don't have anything, like, I don't know how to attach it.
You need some string for it. Maybe you'll wear it for the next episode.
I also don't like wearing masks. I don't know how people wear masks. And this is paper mache, so it's like thick. I don't like that.
Yeah. All right, guys. We love you all. We'll see you guys next time. We'll see you on Tuesday for BCC. Love you guys.
You won't see me for a couple of weeks.
Bye. Okay.
Bye.
Sorry. Love you.
2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks?
2 weeks. Bye.